Action.
I'm gonna show you what the real Elvis is like tonight.
If you're looking for trouble, you came to the right place.
Okay, is Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie any good? That's the question everyone keeps asking me, and the answer is not as easy as a simple yes or no. You see, whether or not you'll love this movie depends on a couple of factors. For starters, how do you feel about this? Or what about this?
I'm Gat.
And this one might seem kinda obvious, but how do you feel about this guy? If your answer to those questions was, F yeah, shove it in my eyeballs already, then I can categorically state that you'll love this Elvis movie.
Well, you may go to college, you may go to school.
However, if you prefer your musical biopics like this,
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more.
or this, then I reckon the new Elvis movie probably won't float your boat. And really, it all comes down to how you feel about Baz Luhrmann's aesthetic as a director. He's always been a more is more kind of guy, which is what so many people love about him.
Don't worry, folks, you will get your serve of Basmatas.
And with Elvis, he had the perfect blank canvas to use every colour in the paint box, sometimes all at once. And then he bedazzled the canvas and covered it in glitter.
I need to get back to who I really am. And who are you, Oz?
This is particularly obvious in the first 10 minutes of the film when Baz pulls out every filmmaking trick in the book to set up his movie as one big flashback. He kicks things off by introducing the audience to Colonel Tom Parker, who was Elvis's mysterious and controversial manager and is played here by the one and only Tom Hanks.
He was my destiny. I wish to promote you, Mr. Presley.
Opening with a monologue from the Colonel confirms this story will be told from his perspective, and he admits that the audience might well consider him to be the villain. But I didn't kill Elvis, he says, I created Elvis, and then we get to find out how that happened. Now, it's actually a great idea to tell the well-worn story of Elvis's life using a narrator that was central to the singer's success, but that no one really knows anything about. The only problem with that is, when you first hear Tom Hanks's weird accent, a lot of people might go, what the f*** is that shit? You see, most people have no idea that the Colonel wasn't even a Colonel, or even a Tom Parker for that matter, and that he was actually a Dutch bloke who'd been living as an illegal immigrant in America for decades. So Hanks's accent is actually spot on.
Without me, there would be no Elvis Presley.
It all gets explained later in the movie, but some viewers will find it a real struggle early on. But that's nothing compared to Baz's hectic flashback of Elvis's childhood. At one point, it even turns into a comic book illustration. It's simply sensory overload, and the director really needed to dial it down a notch, or 10. But thankfully, the film soon finds its feet, and that has a lot to do with the appearance on screen of adult Elvis, played by Austin Butler, who I gotta say is
So hot right now.
Thanks, Will Ferrell. Seriously, if Austin Butler was any hotter right now, he'd overtake greenhouse gases as the #1 cause of global warming, and you wouldn't get any protests. He's also insanely good at playing Elvis, whether that's young hound dog Elvis, 68 comeback special Elvis, or sequin jumpsuit Vegas Elvis. Now, to be fair, some of these incredible concert sequences have a lot to do with Baz Luhrmann's direction. Baz has produced some legit iconic cinematic moments in Elvis, just as he has in all of his films. But there are other times when the director just can't seem to get out of his own way, and that impacts his ability to ground this story in its tragic reality. Because make no mistake, the life of Elvis Presley is a tragedy, and Perth actor Olivia DeJonge plays a big part in getting that across as Elvis's wife and baby mama Priscilla. And I guess that's the big thing with this movie. Even though there are so many unnecessary flourishes, the crushing emotional weight of the conclusion makes up for pretty much all of them. And it means you're left focusing on Austin Butler's stunning work, which is absolutely a performance for the ages. Elvis gets 3.5 stars.